Hi, welcome back to My Messy Fingers. We're working on signature number 1 for our album. And I'm going to do something a little different, and I'll show you when I get there. You do not have to do it. It's more me than it is anything. So this is the sheet that I've taken out of the Maxi pad. It's just this beautiful light soft green with some cracks. I have this marked as my top, so I better turn it upside down. I just love this. I think it's so pretty. It's just kind of delicate. Now I'm going to make a big pocket here on the bottom, and what I'm using is on the front of the album. No, it wasn't the front of the album at all. It was this piece here. Let me get it up here in the. This piece here. This came in like this, because this is the top here of this little sign. So this piece, I hope you have it handy and you haven't tossed it, because I'm going to use it down here for the tuck. It's just an interesting piece. I like to play with those, and I'm putting this saying off that quoted sayings sheet that says adventures await, and I'm just going to put that right there. And I just felt that this was kind of a nice little backdrop for that. I'm using 2 of the filigrees, the small ones, here on this pocket. I can erase this now. And then we'll get to the flaps when we get there, because there's several here, and I'll show you what I've got when I get there. All right, so this is going to measure at 8 5/8 in the height, and then it's going to measure 9 1/4 in the width. I need to double check that. It just seems like that's awfully big. Oh, but this is a 10. That's right. That's because this is a 10-inch album. Totally spaced. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got that. 9 1/4 inches across by your 8 5/8 in the height. And then this piece here, I did not do any trim to it at all. So the pocket's going to be 3 inches, and then obviously it's going to be 9 1/4 in the length, so that this sits down in here. Now, this is so unique. You can put this up here so that more of this shows. You can put it at the bottom, you can put it in the middle. I've got the tendency that I'm going to probably push mine to the top a little bit so that this branch shows. It's got just a real interesting character to it. So I am going to go ahead and get this put in. And I put my filigrees on ahead of time because they're the glossy accents. It adheres quickly, but it's a kind of a sticky, tacky mess. So I wanted to get that done ahead of time. Oh, for Pete's sake, come on. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And if you have not followed me before, and this is your first album with me, I play with my scraps. So when you're cutting and trimming, make sure that you kind of hold on to your scraps, put them in a pile someplace, because we're going to probably go back to them. I'm going to turn this over so I can burnish this. I don't want to. I notice here that I have a bit of a hangover here. And I'm not going to, I'll just trim it off. Okay. Cut it a little too long. All right, so there we go, we got that. Now, there are, in that maxi pad, there are 4 of these large squares. They measure 5 3/4 by about 5 1/2. So pull out 4 of them. We're going to put them here on the side of the panels for large photos. So you'll kind of alternate top to bottom. I've already got my 4 taken out, and I've inked their edges. Everything is kind of ready to go. What you also will find in that very large maxi pad and in the core, there are these teacups, and I think they're just cute. So I'm going to use some of them, and I'm going to put them here on the fronts. You may be journaling here. You can still put small photos here, but it will also create a tuck for you. So the 4 teacups I chose was this one with the pots and the glass jars, this one with the potted plants, and then you got to turn this way so you can see it. And then this one with the globe. Those were the 4 that I pulled out. There are a lot of teacups, so you can pick and choose whichever. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know where that yawn came from. I apologize. That's embarrassing. And then, again, use whatever teacups you want to use. I have cut them out. I have mounted them on some brown cardstock, and then they will go in their respective corners as tucks. Haven't decided whether I want a tuck coming in this way yet or this way, because this is the handle. I find it odd that they, really truly, that they made a thing of teacups. It's just kind of interesting. Now, on the back side of this, there is a sheet in there that has these trees on it. Let's see, this goes like this. So here's a tree. There's a tree up there. And then over here, there is this tree. And I do believe, I don't know if it goes, it might go this way. But anyway, they're just stunning. They're just stunning images. So, and you'll get 4 cuts out of it. So you'll be able to do the back of all 4 of these large panels. And again, I've inked everything with the Powder Puff chalking ink. It's called Mahogany. And you can, again, you can find everything that I'm playing with I got at Scrap and Create. So the links will be down below. So let's go ahead and let's get some of these in here. Now on 2 of these items, I did use a brass element. I put a clock on the center of this clock. I put a gear in the center of this clock. And this little lock that I got, locket, and I put it here with the globe. So I'm going to kind of separate these away just a little bit so that I should probably put this down before I lose it in amongst all of my things. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay, now I'm going to glue, and again, like I said, these all came out of the maxi pad. You will not find them in the main core paper pad or the patterns. They're going to be in that maxi pad. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this piece in down here. I just think this is so pretty. When you get the full sheet out and take a look at it, it's just quite stunning. And again, I've used a 1/4 inch corner rounder. And I think I'm going to do it this way so that the tuck is coming in here, not up against this. So I'm going to secure this down here. I'm going to secure the handle, and then I'm going to secure it here across the bottom. The handle being the weak point. I don't want whoever buys this, I don't want them to have to be shoving up against the handle all the time and then it creating a weak spot. Okay, so there's our tuck. All right, and let's go ahead and let's get this put in the album. Now I'm going to come right up here to the very top. Burnish that down. Now the next one I'm going to lay. Oh, I should have done this last because of this. Oh, I wasn't thinking. I don't want that. Oh, I'm so, yes, I'm so annoyed with myself. What can I say? This really should have gone on last. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to put a different one there, and I'm going to do it right away, and I'll add everything else here in a minute because the tape is on the back side of this and I don't want it to muck around with. Oh, I'll just take it off. There we go. Easy peasy. All right, let's get this lined back up here. Okay, Now I'll put some tape on this piece, and I think I'm going to let it sit for a bit because it's still a little wet. So I'm just going to let that sit while I put these pieces on. So this is going to go on the front. Oh, you know what, too? Oh, crazy, 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 Charlie. You're such a bad girl. You know what? I'm up to my old tricks again. Let me do it to this one. Your cardstock pieces are going to measure in the width. They're going to measure at 6 1/8, and then you are at 5 5/8 in the height. And you're going to need to cut 4 of those. So again, 6 1/8 by 5 5/8, and then all these panels will all fit, and then you'll just cut to trim this panel. All right. I think that's dry enough. We're going to try and put it down. Now, when you put these down here, once you've got one panel in, you're going to meet with a little bit of resistance. And when you go to turn this over, you want to make sure that you burnish it really good, because you've got a 1/2 inch trying to wrap around a 1/2 inch, and that's the gusset that we created when we scored. All right, so now I'm going to get this piece in here. Okay, so we have this side done. And now we're going to move over to this side. Oh, where's my teacup? All right, here's my teacup. I'm gonna glue the handle. I'm gonna glue it here. Tape it here at the base. You might be using glue, but I'm going to use tape. Oh, there it is. Get the tape up underneath there. All right. So, and I will show you here. You have a nice tuck. And you can still put not this big of a photo, but you can still put a very decent sized photo that you can commit there. All right, so if I'm going to alternate these, this one should go on next. hope I'm still in frame, but I do need to bring this a little closer to me. Okay. And then I'm going to put this one up on the top because I want to alternate the pages. I normally turn things over, but because of the second panel that's going to go on here in a minute, I want to be able to see that I've got my tape fully on the back side. And then here's my teacup with the potted with the flower pots and items. Okay, and continuing with this pattern, I'm coming off the edge, off both the edges. Right, and then I really wanted these to kind of, there we go. I just have to put that one on the top. All right. I guess it doesn't matter how they lay. I just like to have an alternating pattern when I close mine. And I just had an uh-oh thought. I'll have to deal with it here in a minute. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to set this one in. And then we're going to come in here on this last one and line it up. And give it a good burnish. And then we're going to add our last teacup. Get that tape tucked away. And then just come off the edge a little bit, both the top and the bottom. Okay, so you can close these in whichever fashion you want. Now we're going to get to the I have my left and my right panels, but I did not think about magnet placement. I have all these down here. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but right now I just need to get it on there so I can figure it out. So my right side panel is coming in at 6 7/8 in the width, and I'm at the 8 5/8 in the height. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. I'm sorry, my brain is already trying to figure out how I'm going to do the closure on this, and the only way I'm going to be able to work it through is to go ahead and get these panels. Oh, I know, the panels are overlapping. Jeez, Charlie, you're so strange sometimes. Okay, now I've got myself flustered. There we go. Okay, so that big gusset is to help wrap around everything you've just created here on the end. And we want to make sure that that 1/4 inch gusset, 3/4 inch score mark is doing its job. So you shouldn't be seeing any tape here, and this is going to wrap over. As these fill with photos, you want that room in order for the flaps to lay the correct way. Okay, I did it to myself again. What am I doing? It goes this way. Okay, I've got myself all turned around, upside down and backwards. I'm used to leaving my tape on when I put these down, and I've decided I just took them off, arbitrarily took them off. Okay, there we go. Okay, that one's standing up really nice. Okay, now I've rounded the corners up here, but I have not done that down here, and I will show you why here in a moment. But let's go ahead and let's set our magnets. My poor knuckles are having a hard time getting those out of there. It's called arthritis. Okay. I'm going to put my right side flap on the top. So, because of the image that's going to be on it. Come off my finger. I'm just going to kind of drop this here about midway. I'm going to take this off, making sure that the tops and the bottoms match and that the gussets are straight. Then commit your magnet. And then I want to put a tad bit of tape over them, just so that I can ensure that they don't ever go on a walkabout. All right, now this next step, I don't know if you want to do it or not. I kind of got fixated with an image and I wanted to protect it. So this piece here has this big elk on it. I think it's an elk. I might be wrong. And the other side, these are the two 12 by 12 pieces, okay? So I cut up through here and then made this panel, and let's just double check the measurement here on this panel. So this is going to be 6 inches. So this one's going to be 6 3/4 because we've got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch gusset. So if this is 6 inches, this is going to actually be 6 3/4 across. 6 3/4. All right, so this piece here is going to sit here. And then this piece was going to sit here. Now, what I'm going to do, and maybe I'll change my mind, I'll have to see. This is the bottom half of the deer. And I just love that image, and I was really torn. Do I want to cut this off up here at the top, all of this, or do I cut him down here? Because really this is okay the way that it is. But I want to be able to preserve the entire image. So what I thought I would do is that I would come in here with a flap. Let's get this out of the way because it's really distracting. That I would come in here with a flap, and that when the flap opens, then it's going to continue on with the pattern to the elk. And then when this is open, this will then fall to the outside, and then I have a piece here that you can do some journaling on, and then this is the piece for the top. So this is just a corner piece of this for the continuation. And I've done the same with this. So this is my top piece here. And then again, I've got this drop down panel. When you drop it down from this side, it makes sense. So you're going to have a journaling spot or a small photo spot down here at the bottom of this. But when you close this, then you get to see the rest of the page. So I'm going to do this just because I love this image, and it's really the only way I can utilize the entire 12 by 12 image that they've created. You do not have to do this. This is going to tuck up inside, so for it to work, I have to put this panel on first, and that's why I did not round this corner down here. It would not have made for a very good visual. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. I think it'll just be an interesting element that I can show to the buyer that purchases this. So I'm just going to come just a hair to the inside of that hinge. Make sure that my tape is covered. I'm okay. Because I don't want this binding up there. All right, so while we're here, let's just go ahead and get this situated. And I think I had the pen. There we go. Lining up the patterns here. So then that means this is the piece that will go over here. So I'm just going to stay here because it's in frame, and then we'll move over here to the other side and we'll play with it. So let's go ahead. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this first, because then I can fold it back out of the way so I can pull this back towards me a little bit. Just kind of fold it up underneath there so I can bring this to me. And then this will sit in here. Just like so. Okay, and we'll come back to this here in a minute. Let's get over here. Don't take that off yet, Charlie. Do not. Now I'm just going to line up here just a hair to the inside of that. And then I'm going to add this piece. Now, this one I'm going to tape down because the magnet is sitting behind this sheet, and I don't want to close off my access by gluing it. So give me just a bit of time here to tape this down. Use my thumbnail, try to make a round tear. I'm going to add a little bit of tape over on this side because I've got the tape here on the magnet side of it. Okay, so we're just going to lay this in here, make sure it's fairly even before we burnish. It's kind of cool because then all these lines match up. Alright, so this is going to fold up, and this is going to fold up, so now we got two flaps, but to finish the flaps, we have to turn this thing over. Alright, so we're going to start here, oops, upside down. I did that mistake. I went like this, and I rounded my corners, and then I went, oh, so I've got 4 rounded corners, but I don't think it's going to be any big deal. You barely notice them. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this on. Tuck that up out of the way now. It'll look interesting because when you open this up, you're gonna see this. And at first glance, you don't notice that it's wrong until you open it to the outside. Okay, so then this piece is gonna come in here like this. Like I said, this is my solution to being able to utilize the entire 12-inch image. And again, you do not have to do this, but it will be a conversation piece. Okay. I'm going to tuck these up and out of the way so that we can work on the tops. So this one I can glue down because there's no magnet here. I really love the gentle script that was placed in the background on these pieces. It's so pretty. That's just throughout. I just love it. Okay. All right, so now, there you go. That's what it's gonna look like. So you're not losing that total image. So we're gonna close this. And this one I'm gonna tape because of that magnet. Oops. I wasn't pressing down hard enough. So this is going to go here. I want this strip here for stabilizing. So we're going to come down here to the corner, square that up, line that up top to bottom, and then burnish. Okie dokie. So now when you open these up and you pull these down, there's your full 12 by 12 sheet. and the images were retained, or like I said, you don't have to add these. And then when you open this up all the way, you have all this extended here for photos. You can do some journaling down below here as well. And then you've got all of these for your photo mats. So you have a lot of opportunity for photos, plus you've got a nice decent pocket. Now, if you want, you could take some of your scraps and create like a 1-inch banner here as a tuck, because these are pretty big panels. So you can do that to personalize it. Fold those up and over it goes. I'm pleased. All right, let's put some tape on the back of this. And I'm going to use 5/8 inch this time. It's just a little bit heavier of a signature. And I want it to be well intact when we get it into the album. Now, at this point, when you're putting this tape on the back, if you notice that you have a gusset that's wanting to lay flat, I call it collapsing, no worries, just put your tape on, because when you go to put it in the album, it will be the first side that you're going to release, and I'll show you what to do. We did it, I think, on the last one. Definitely some center tape, because these are big signatures and we need to make sure that they are secured well into the album. Okay. So this is going to sit in here like so. And I am going to turn it around because I want to be able to see at least 3 of the 4 sides when I'm placing this. And I'm going to bring this gusset here, I'm going to bring right to the very edge of the page. And I'm only pulling the inner panels, the inner tape, because if I make a mistake, then I'm not having to remove a bunch of tape. And my glue sets up so fast that I don't dare use it, because then I've ruined everything if I did a bad placement. Okay, let's get these closed. Now, the first one I'm going to take out because it's easier to do at first is this one here on the inside gusset, because I can get in here, I can kind of smooch things around to get up in there. It's the one that's tucked away the most. Okay, when you remove the tape, if you think you have a gusset that's trying to flatten out on you, trying to collapse, make sure that it is straight, puts a little bit of pressure on it, and then lay it down straight, and then commit your tape into position. I hope that makes sense. Let's sneak in here. Well, come here. And then I'm going to take this one off over here. I know this is a bad visual. I apologize. But it's how I get. Now, I do have one that's trying to collapse on me now. It's this one right here. So I am going to make sure that they are up straight and then commit the tape, and then they're just fine. they're in their respective positions. Give it a good burnish. Alright, so I'm going to close these up, close this up, and there you go. Alright, we're done. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, bye-bye.